Okay, hi, thank you for joining me today. And today I want to share with you some very good news related to mental health. And this post is on AR Post. If you go to arpost.co, you can see this news. And the title of the news is called Mental Health Awareness Month, looking at the XR angle. And this was written by John Joling, and then, yeah, so let's dive into the news. The first one is helium, Healium. Helium is an AR/VR company that uses biofeedback recorded through the wearable technology to help users visualize and control their emotions. Especially the platform aims to help users who struggle with the feelings of stress and anxiety. So pretty much today, what we are talking about will be a lot of really cool XR companies, either software or hardware or both. Those companies, they were trying to bring the solutions for people who are struggling with social distance during COVID, or some seniors, they have troubling cope their loneliness, or they don't the companies want to solve a lot of problems that during COVID and social distancing. So yeah, so the first one is helium. I went to their website. It's very interesting that there's a banner on their forehead, and which detects your brain wave, and yeah, it will kind of show you like visualization graphs and show you like your status, and also it will have some augmented reality or virtual reality kind of like for example, like I saw one of the video, there are a lot of butterflies flying all over the place and soothing your mind and put some natural elements in. So yeah, so this is kind of like one of the companies that help the users to soothe and during this time. Another one is called React Neuro. Um, yeah, React Neuro uses analytics developed by pairing their own custom algorithm with the eye tracking that comes built to the last headset. So pretty much this one is that if you go to their site, there are a lot of really cool neuro technology. Pretty much it's the same thing. They are using, like detecting where you see or your brand. It pretty much can provide some data for, for people to get a better, understanding of the user and also provide a better service for the user. Another one is called Mind VR. Mind, the spell is MYNDVR. Mind VR is specially dedicated to working with older adults to reduce the feelings of isolation that those populations often face, even in communities. The company does through providing shared experience as well as through an immersive library of immersive content. Another one is called Rendever. Rendever, Rendever, is another company devoted to promoting mental health initiative to uh, another senior group of adults. The company often works with senior living in communities to provide remote connection as well as one of a kind experience. So Rendever usually works with institutions, but also deliver the spatial experience to users to their own homes. Yeah, so some other part will be the VR for education. For example, there's a company called Kinful, Kinful. Kinful. So this company provide some VR education materials to help school children understanding the emotions that come with the events that they might not have experienced firsthand to promote social emotional learning, kind of helping kids to have healthy relations skills and responsible decision makings. So some other solutions such as Viability and Tailspin, those companies are also providing some really good solutions for soft skills in VR for people. So yeah, so I think those are pretty good like companies, and having a lot of good influence, or helping people to I don't like deal with their emotion, or learn a healthy way to improve their emotions. Uh, yeah. So do you have any thoughts, Ellen, for the news?
Yeah, I was looking at some of these websites, and this is pretty amazing stuff. I think I mentioned before. I love that a lot of these companies are coming out with content, and some of these systems that allow people to interact with these things. The more and more that these things are available, obviously it'll become a little more mainstream. Again, it's too bad that the devices, I guess, aren't cheap enough that just the average person can have one right now. But obviously it'll start growing in popularity over time. But yeah, I love again the idea of using psychology to kind of help people. If it's just not for just relaxing and kind of stressing, stressless environment at the end of the day, to helping people interact with different issues that they might have, psychological issues. There's just a whole ton of different areas that you can focus on. But I do like a lot there's the Remdesivir, I think it is. Helping the elderly kind of deal with different situations, and it's really cool stuff.
Yeah, thank you, Alan, for your feedback. Yeah, I personally think those are really helpful, and also like more consumer end product. And then yeah, just like you said, it might be really expensive because right now still in the early stage. Yeah, and then also I think for when I watched Rendeavor, this company, I saw a lot of seniors that were surprised about, wow, I thought I only can look at those plays through books, and now I feel like they feel like they are actual visiting those places. Yeah, so I think those are phenomena, right?
Yeah, definitely. And there are so many people forget there's so many situations where people are kind of stuck in one place. Whether you're in the hospital, like we had mentioned, or you're in some type of elderly care where you just can't move around a lot. It's tough. A lot of people who can go to the mall over the weekend or travel, don't realize that there's a lot of people that are kind of just stuck in one place. And to be able to use VR in this case to kind of travel around and just experience things is pretty awesome, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, so I mean now I think because of COVID does accelerate, digital transformation and the XR place. Now people are seeking for a lot of solutions for, remote communication, or helping us to ease the anxiety. Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay, cool. Thank you. And then the second one is the news is on Forbes.com, and the title is This Week in XR. Omni Cybershoes offer more immersion, Huawei VR sneak peek, and it's written by Charlie Fink. Okay, so let's take a look of this news. And I think Omni One has a very cool solutions, which like this whole small. I would say it's kind of like before, when I remember a long time ago when I went to VRLA, and I saw that the whole device is like it's its own world. It has a lot of like a lot of stuff, and it's pretty big and cumbersome. But right now, Vertux, maker of the dish and harness VR locomotion system, Omni, announced it has raised 19 million for its Omni Pro Omni Pro home platform. So pretty much you bought a system which includes everything. There's a dish, and later on you probably need to buy the shoes and some other, like the cyber chair and cyber, I think cyber carpet. Yeah, and low stuff is pretty much, I would say, very interesting system. So with that small system, you can play games or maybe do some exercise. So like, and it's fitting your home. And the Omni Pro system is around $2,000. I mean, it's still very expensive, but it's the price is kind of affordable for, if someone who save up for a few months. I think it's kind of like yeah, it's $2,000. It's not like 20K. Yeah. Okay. So this is the first news, which is very cool. At least we, like there, some companies start making some compatible or like small devices that for normal people to have it at home. So I think this is a really good news. Another one is Huawei VR glasses, 6 degree of freedom dev kit hands on. So pretty much Huawei is still not standalone. Yeah, it's you need to link up to your PC and your phone. But I think that they are start to do something, and it's Huawei. I know that Huawei has been banned because 5G or China issues. But I think I'm happy to see that like if Huawei start making something, and yeah, I like to see the competition. So which makes things cheaper and better. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. So pretty much, and there will be some VR AR global online summit around June 2nd to 4th. Yeah, and Apple is going to have their conference around June 7th. So on June, we are going to have pretty cool conference around the corner. Yeah, so any thoughts, comments for those news?
Yeah, I agree with you completely. I love the competition. I always remember that, like you said, competition is awesome. No matter where it comes from, it just always creates innovation. And, ultimately, without even knowing it, sometimes, just an idea that comes up from one of these companies could also spark an idea, somewhere else for another company or, for another place. So it's there's nothing at all wrong with competition. I think it's great. The other thing is, some of these systems, like the one you mentioned for $2,000, like we mentioned before, technology gets better and better and definitely gets smaller over time. So, eventually the stuff will come down in price. It'll probably get merged into other technologies. Get cheaper over time as well. So as long as there's a purpose there, it helps people in some way or entertains them in some way, it'll be successful. But yeah, the price is definitely a block at this point for quite a few people. But yeah, I mean, it'll definitely come down over time. I'm sure, just make it easier. So it's just an evolution of technology and just the way that business works. But we'll see it happen sometime soon, I'm hoping. But yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Cool. Thank you. And another news is on WSJ.com. And the title is called How 5G Will Take Esports to a Whole New Level for Gamers and Fans. So in this news, it talks about like in China, people want to create some, like by using 5G they want to create something similar to Ready Player One, making people start competing or having game in kind of like in virtual reality, but because it's so fast, right? So you can pretty much do anything in real time, and it still feels like you yourself in playing in reality. So 5G will make the immersive experience even better. So yeah, so pretty much this is the first stage that they are doing, and I think it's everything right now is in China. And then according to this news, that there's a really big company called Douyu in Chinese means fighting fish. Yeah, so in Douyu, and then Douyu actually is located in Wuhan. Yeah, I find out that Wuhan is really famous, and right now, like the biggest, 5G gaming platform is in Wuhan right now, and then their dream is to turn the entire system, make people start working, or start doing a lot of, I would say, interaction or play games, multiplayers on the cloud. And the next step, they want to start having some virtual characters serving as a tournament commentators and artificial intelligence trainers for esports athletes. So yeah, and I think the marketing cap is pretty big. It's around a few billion. Yeah, it's like $6.3 billion by 2024, from $640 million in 2020. So yeah, I think yeah, this will definitely go pretty, I would say, pretty big. Yeah, so especially esports. Yeah. Any thoughts for this news, Ellen?
That sounds pretty exciting. Yeah, again, I'm really enjoying the way that this technology, be it AR, VR, is kind of expanding out to different kinds of use case scenarios. So obviously, we've talked a bunch about healthcare. We've talked about some of these other things, but in sports as well. As a matter of fact, one of the projects I'm working on currently is using a mobile app to help train lacrosse players to play lacrosse. So we do have a combination of videos that show how to do the proper procedures in lacrosse, but we're also developing AR avatars that will just using basically AR Kit from Apple is the main one, but it'll actually use a real kind of a virtual lacrosse player that you can place right in front of you on the field, and then you can see how they do the individual exercises. So it's almost like having a virtual coach kind of show you all the moves, and there's a bunch of other AI technology coming along for pose detection to show you how to do proper sports activity as well. So if your golf swing is not the right angle, it can kind of keep track of those things, yoga, stuff like that. So yeah, it's very exciting to see the AI, AR, VR technology kind of going into the sports sector as well.
Yeah, I think with 5G, and before we were talking about, like the blockchain, I think all the technology start merging together and start applying to other different fields and create a lot of, I would say, a lot of innovation and a lot of new opportunities. Yeah, so I'm happy to see all those, especially, in Asia. The cyber coffee, there's a really special culture phenomena, it's called cyber coffee. Pretty much, usually guys go to the cyber coffee, and they just sit there. It's kind of like a rental system. You pay like 100 or 200 NT dollars or yen for a seat. And this cyber coffee provides high speed Wi-Fi and the best computer equipment for guys. Usually guys. Sometimes there are some girls playing video games and doing online streaming. So yeah, that usually. That is the place that all the teenagers or college students hang out, or during the weekend. And a lot of guys, sometimes they just sleep there because sometimes you need to play video games and you forget about time. So this is kind of like a special phenomena in Asia. So yeah, I think this will go pretty big.
Yeah, that sounds. I've heard of those before. They have. As long as you have food, water,
yes,
restrooms, I guess you can stay there as long as you want. pay the money. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty interesting. That's just a different kind of group that really gets into video games and kind of is way more serious about it than I am. But yeah, it's pretty fascinating.
Yeah, right. Cool. Yeah. So those are today's news. And thank you, Alan, for joining me today and providing a lot of good feedback. And yeah, so I will see everyone next Monday. Okay. Thank you.
Take care.
Bye-bye. Thank you and bye-bye.